Okay, so I clicked the button right when you're saying that. There's a slight delay, so I don't know if it included that or not. So we'll see. We're, we're live. Oh wait, I need to do the intro. See, you threw me off.
Welcome to podcast 2187. Enjoy the show. And don't forget to submit your blaster for inspection.
Okay, so we got that part done. Welcome.
Listen, since our listeners in Sri Lanka and Israel and whatnot, since they don't hear it probably live, I think it's fine if I'm sure you'll edit that for the actual business.
If it is in there, then I would have to, but we'll see. It might have just missed it. I don't know.
I hope so. Sorry, Tim.
No, but I'm tweeting this though. Join us for our live trailer discussion because that's what we're doing now. Because we're going to talk about,
We doing frame by frame?
Not frame by frame, but more of a like scene by scene. I have it.
Mark, the thing that brought me into all this to begin with was back when you guys were still Castle Run Radio. You weren't on the episode, and they had me in on the breakdown.
Yeah.
Noah's trying to organize it, and we had a half-hour limit. And he looks at the time when we're like 21 minutes in, and we're like 15 seconds into the full-length trailer. Like he is not given nearly enough time or been paying any attention at all. Like to the pace. It was amazing.
He's gonna have. Imagine if that was like threads on Twitter. He's got 18 different videos of one trailer analyzing episode. Good Lord.
Oh god.
No, but yeah, for most of what we're going to be doing right now is discussing the poster and the trailer for The Last Jedi that just came out last night during Monday Night Football, which the second half of that game, by the way, was way better than the first, just saying for anybody who probably doesn't even care anyway. But we have the new trailer, and I did set it up so that if I have everything right, you guys can hear, because I'm going to play the trailer and like pause it throughout so we can just talk about the things that came from it. And I think you guys should be able to hear where we are in it, so you'll know what we're talking about.
That's great, Jim.
If that's not the case, then this whole past 30 seconds will have not been worth it. But let's see. Tell me if you hear this.
When I found you.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, I know, Mark, you were particularly excited about the first two shots of the trailer, because in the first one, there are First Order ATSTs, right?
Yes.
And, I mean, I thought that was cool.
Wait, whoa. ATSTs where?
In the first shot.
ATSTs?
Yeah, in the bottom left, I think. Let me blow this up. Oh, great, naturally. It's kind of fuzzy. I think it's in like the bottom left of the screen, something, because they have, it's like the whole hangar area.
Okay, but they look a little different to me. They almost look like cockroaches. Like they have it looks like some of them have a hood of the Queen alien from Aliens. I don't know if that makes any sense. I know, stupid, but
No, I can see that a little bit. Like it's almost like corrugated or something. Like
a little bit. Are you breaking down the trailer now, Tim?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, real quick, because somebody mentioned something, and for anybody who ever listens to podcast 2187 and heard me rant about that I won't be watching trailers anymore. Well, I watched this one.
Yeah.
My reasoning is sound. It is sound reasoning.
It is.
It is the fact film is wrapped. It's in the can. That means there's no more editing, filming, shooting, anything left for this film, according to the director, Rian Johnson. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a pretty safe bet that everything that's in this trailer is in the film. Now, granted, they might do a little misdirection or whatever, but at least the shots are probably in the film. So I took it as a safe bet to break my swear that I'd never see it and watch it. For all of you two people that care, there you go.
And like you said, it does make sense because, yeah, your reasoning from the beginning has been based off of largely the Rogue One trailers that were pretty much not even in the movie at all. And so for this time, like you said, it's been completely done for a few weeks now. And like you said, most likely they're not going to be throwing in things that they already know aren't going to be in it. Most likely.
Right.
So, yeah, so that makes sense. And
I think it's consistent. It's consistent logic, right? Nobody can fault Mark for that.
No. And anybody who does, just like, why? Anyway, so the next thing is something else that Mark would really like. Because we have, in the background, and like in the middle, we have two normal AT-ATs in here. And then
apparently.
Well, like,
really, they're first order AT-ATs.
Yeah, but they're basically the same thing. Like, but by visuals, they're basically the same thing.
Okay, but can I say that now I don't like this? What part of the trailer was that? I didn't know
that was my neighborhood.
Oh, so these are what, ATM 6?
Yeah, I think it's M6. Yeah.
Okay, so you've just taken like this grandiose, menacing thing like an AT-AT, and you made it like, "Hi guys, look at me."
Yeah.
And while I appreciate the reason why they did it, they wanted you to see the scale. This is what you know, and this is what there is now. It still makes me go, I don't want my guy turned into a little guy now. No, tiny little AT-AT.
Well, even though they're trying to make the new ones your new guy?
They'll never be my new guy. Old guy. It's always my old guy.
Okay.
Come on. New Coke was never better than Coke. They're going to call it AT-AT Classic now?
I mean, actually, they might. That almost works.
It is an awesome shot, though, with them all kind of like coming up to the line. I like it. I like it quite a bit.
And it looks like Kylo's shuttle above them, and it looks like they're on Crate with the red dust coming up. It has basically
all
been
all the red
anyway.
Dust stuff is pretty rad. Like it definitely adds to the atmosphere instantly, and I like it because it's like an alien type vibe that we haven't seen before.
And like I really like the usage of red in the color scheme for this movie. Like whether it's the dust here or the room we're about to get to in a little bit, the posters, the freaking logo, like everything is red, and I think that's really
Praetorian
cool.
Guards.
Yeah.
Have we found out what it is yet? We did.
What do you have something in mind?
Did you find out why there's so much red yet?
Well, not specifically, unless I missed something.
Oh, okay. I was wondering because there's a lot of red. I forget from film class that I took what red's supposed to mean, but it definitely has a meaning, like a Dutch tilt or those sort of push pulls and edits and stuff. It has a meaning in film. I just forget what it is.
Okay, well, and so moving on. Okay, yeah. So we have Kylo leading the. You can't tell from the top if those are like flame troopers or what, but some sort of first order stormtroopers.
They look like stormtroopers from the top.
They kind of do, wrong. But then some. It's hard. It really is hard to tell. And there are some snowtroopers in the movie because in a later shot in the trailer when they're showing the troopers standing in formation or whatever, the ones I think they're like on the left are snowtroopers. So.
Well, what if they're entering on Crate? Did we decide whether that white is snow or not, or it's just the?
I think it's just like salt patches, but I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like on Earth, it is salt, but I don't know what they've determined it would be in film.
Frozen salt.
And also, in a second, I'm going to also discuss what Snoke is saying during these things.
And beyond that.
And here's Kylo in front of the red, picking up his lightsaber. And this is one of the interesting shots, too. This was in the promo for the trailer. And it looks like there are 2 Praetorian guards in the background as he picks up his lightsaber. So a couple different thoughts on this. One of the thoughts that I've heard that I kind of liked is that he's going to be training with the Praetorian guards. And that's why he's picking up his lightsaber with 2 in the background. I think that's cool because at the end of The Force Awakens, Snoke says, "Bring him to me. I need to complete his training," right? And this takes place immediately after. So it'd be kind of odd if they completely skipped his training. And it'd be a cool way to do it, is having him go against the guards. So what do you guys think could be happening with the two guards in the background and him picking up a lightsaber? It might be nothing.
I think you're probably right.
It's definitely a good idea. Like, it's definitely plausible.
I think that'd be cool.
And this also might be the best opportunity to show him fighting, because everybody, not everybody, but a decent amount of people that I knew that I had to argue with complained about his lack of power, or
Right.
possibly the lack of, how Finn kept him at bay, how Rey beat him. And it's like, look, guys, again, they make a point of demonstrating throughout The Force Awakens how utterly kick-ass that blaster from Chewbacca the Bowcaster is.
Yeah.
And so when he takes a shot from it and just goes down on a knee, you know that, okay, he's the man. He's just taking this thing that's knocking people back, 10, 15 feet. And so he's not at his best in any way, shape, or form when he fights Rey. And I think this may be your opportunity, to reintroduce how much of a bad ass he is to the audience, having him fight these, awesome looking Praetorian guards. There's probably going to be some serious, martial arts and some serious swordplay going on. So I think this is the time that, you get to see his training, possibly montagey. You're the best around. Nothing's ever going to keep you down. While Rey's doing her Luke breaking rocks and picking up pebbles and stuff.
And plus, another thing too about Kylo is that he was pretty much the exact opposite of focused when he's fighting Rey and Finn, even.
Yeah, he lost. Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. It could work to me, character-wise, to do what they did. Let's see.
Something truly special.
Okay, so what I'm gonna let's go back. I'm just gonna play Snoke's line because there's a whole discussion about that too.
When I found you, I saw raw, untamed power. And beyond that, something truly special.
So who do you think he's talking to and about in that?
Rey.
Really?
Uh-huh.
What makes you say that?
Jared already heard it all from me today.
Well, no one else did.
Well, okay. Look, bottom line is, if we have to, everyone wants to throw out these theories, and all that, and I hate fan, fan casting, fan speculating, all that.
Right.
I'm not a big, I don't normally do it, but my opinion is that this could be long. This could be long, but I'll try and break it down as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Snoke is Rey's father.
Oh, I saw you talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, and it was a little private conversation between me, you, and Jared, but you don't respond, so I feel like I'm just talking to Jared. Anyways, so yes, I think Snoke's, it's just as good a theory as any, but Snoke's Rey's father. She's either offed by him, or he's trying to kill her to devoid himself of attachments like he's teaching Kylo, or she's taken from him and dropped off on Jakku so he doesn't know that she's there. I know that sounds a little bit like Empire Strikes Back, but I think the difference is, and this is what I tweeted at one point today, is that it's an interesting dichotomy if you have Snoke teaching a Skywalker and Skywalker teaching, a Snoke offspring. You'd have Luke teaching Rey, who is Snoke's daughter, and Snoke teaching, Kylo, who's a son of Skywalker. So it's just one of those things that's like, it's possible, it's interesting, and maybe he finally sees her and realizes that, oh, I knew there was such raw potential in you, but now there's something special, and the special is his is linked to her. And so later on in the scene where you see him torturing her, perhaps he's trying to get the information of who she is out of her mind or where she's from. And he realizes, oh, you are my child. And so it could be him later on saying, let me teach you, and her saying, you know, we teach me, or whatever the hell it was. But that's why I think maybe, if anything, he's actually talking to Rey instead of Kylo. It seems way too much exposition for him to be talking to somebody he's been teaching forever, or for at least, what, 5-10 years.
So I think that's a very interesting idea, and I wouldn't.
Better than Snoke's Ezra.
It is.
I don't disagree with that one.
But I mean, almost anything is. But
Thanks a lot, Tim.
But no, like I said, I really do think that is
set the bar
a
low.
really, really interesting one, though. And I wouldn't really mind, because like you said, the dichotomy of the Skywalker training versus the Snoke all that training stuff is really, especially if they're going on at the same time, that's a really cool way to do it.
Right, and again, it can't be Obi-Wan's kid with Satine. The timeline's not right. You know, she could be somehow related, like a grandchild of, you know, or grandchild of a union of that, or there's a lot of different options. But to me, it's like, okay, this is actually one that, if it turns out to be true, I don't think you'd annoy people with it. I don't think people would be like, oh my God. It might be like, this has an I am your father moment, just like Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, like you said that when you were DMing, you were saying that like it might feel a little bit too much the same to some people. But if they did it differently, I feel like it has a lot of potential. I don't think it's like super likely, but I do think
Right.
I do think like there are elements about it that work because it's a classical like mythological fantasy story,
Well, like
and
you
these kind
mentioned
of
with the
themes
New
like
Gods.
yeah, it's the same parallel. You said that it occurs throughout history and literature, and it's totally true. But like specifically with the New Gods, Darkseid is their evil god. His name is Darkseid, and he came out. I think that's one of those things like Swamp Thing and Man Thing, like they were created at the same time, or Doom Patrol and X-Men. Like when they were released, there's no way Jack Kirby could have known about the dark side being a thing in Star Wars unless he was hanging out with George Lucas. So he wasn't ripping him off, but he created the character of Darkseid, who's this evil god in the New Gods, and his son is named Orion, and he's raised by the good guys. Who's the head of them is named Highfather, and his son is ends up being called Mr. Miracle, and he's raised by Darkseid, by the evil guys, and they trade kids and raise each other's kids like as a peace pact, like as a mutually assured destruction.
You even see that in Game of Thrones, and it's pretty notable, and just in regular history, you know, non-fantasy science fiction history, that's something that happens. You know, people get married to children,
former rivals or whatever.
Right.
They marry them off. Yeah, especially like in royalty, and yeah, absolutely.
And I know we're getting off the topic of actually discussing what's in the trailer, but that's everything that's seen in the trailer. I'm like, okay, it'll work by my theory. Now, my theory could completely be a pile of crap, and 99.9% it probably is, but at least it fits with everything we've seen.
Well,
It's remotely plausible.
I also feel like we wouldn't find out everything until 9, maybe. In a weird way, like they just plant the seed or start to show it.
Well, I think they've said. Well, like I think they've said that we're gonna find out who her parents are in 8, right?
Have they?
Right.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that. Yeah.
I swore they did.
I believe you guys. That's bonkers to me, but that's cool.
We're not gonna get the ramifications until 9, obviously, kind of like Jedi, but we'll find out.
If she is a Rando, that's the best troll. Like you said, if she isn't a Kenobi or a Skywalker or a Snoke or a Palpatine or anybody whose name we've heard before, and so like you said, the ramifications come in 9. Like they're just like, you are, Steve Skyjumper's kid, and it's just like, what the heck? I don't know what this means. It's like, don't worry about it. We'll cover it later. Like we got stuff to do. We gotta go fight Snoke and Kylo. Like,
well, like and
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, at this point, I am kind of inclined to be thinking she isn't related to anybody of significance, like, that we know of. You know what I mean? and that could be completely
think-
wrong, but
I honestly think if Ryan has said, or we have every reason to believe it, we'll find out who her parents are in this film. I would really like to believe, if she's a rando, that the significance is somehow implied. Like that we see the circumstances of why this is an important, auspicious birth. In the terms of the Force, why it's a virgins or whatever. And it doesn't seem like
You're
it's
not
that,
even-
that hard to do. Who was
You're not
Shmi?
Sorry, man.
Oh no, go on.
You're not even seeing in like these Journey of the Force Awakens books some random character popping up. Like, why is this character in every book?
If that were the case, that'd be a pretty cool way to do it. Set it up.
But it would almost be like, okay, you're really telling me that Jax is in everything? Suddenly Jax he's in like 5 or 6 different novels. Okay, Jax is Rey's father. Plain simple. But we've got nothing that I know of. I think the only major book left to come out is Luke Skywalker one, right?
Motorcycle grease.
The Luke Skywalker motorcycle greaser. Is that what you said?
I said the motorcycle outside of grease.
Oh.
Yeah, I the only person I can think who's crossed over from a lot of different things, like a lot of different sets of books and whatnot, is Ray Sloan, and it doesn't make any sense. On so many levels.
I'm so resigned that will never ever
even see her on screen. I want to see her on screen really badly.
I almost don't want her in Rebels. Have her in something better.
Which I understand your feelings on that for sure. At this point, especially, like they do her justice.
Yeah, don't just throw her away. Don't just, here you go. No.
I just would really like to see some crossover with a lit character or a comic character on a show. It feels like a show makes more sense in a lot of ways than a movie. But
one more thing before we go back to the trailer review. Where do we think this next animation property is going to take place? Is it within the original trilogy, or is it post 6 pre 7?
Post 6 pre 7 is my vote.
Early post 6, like before Luke just disappears.
Luke disappears very, very recently.
Yeah,
like they've said, it's like 5 years before Force Awakens.
Right.
So I think it would have to be.
I'd be fine with that.
Unless it's like about like Poe. I don't really see any other way it could really happen. And not be earlier than that, if that makes sense.
Poe and the farting X-wing or whatever.
Yeah, I really don't have a huge problem with that. It doesn't bug me. It's a book for 12-year-olds. It's like, who cares? And people fart. I subtweeted people complaining about that, or no, I didn't subtweet. I responded because Andrea brought it up, or someone else did. Andrea and Jesse were talking, and they said that I love Poe now because of he farted while officiating the wedding. And I said, heck yeah, because there's 2 kinds of people on this world. There's people who laugh when people fart, and liars. Everybody thinks farting is funny. When babies fart themselves, they smile. It's like before anyone can teach them what humor is, they're like, "This is funny, man. Gas came out of me." It's
I'm
hilarious.
44 and I still think farting's funny.
Right? Everybody does. If you don't, you're stuck up and a liar, or maybe whatever. You don't have a normal sense of humor. That's fine. Everybody's different.
Well, we're pulling a Kessel Run Radio because this is 24 minutes. We're 24 minutes into the episode and 22 seconds into the trailer. So,
Right, sorry, go.
No, that's fine. But what Snook was saying, like you said, Mark, I've been hearing a lot of people say they think he's talking to Rey. I personally think it makes more sense for him to be talking to Kylo for 2 main reasons. One being that he says that, like, something like, when I discovered you or whatever, and like, I don't think he discovered Rey, But anyway.
Yeah, that felt weird, especially if there is a past association. But like Mark said too, maybe he doesn't realize it yet.
Yeah.
But I was with you where like it kind of makes sense for Rey, but it makes more sense to Kylo.
And like the other reason, huh?
It does, but at the same time, it feels way too expository.
Well,
it's one of those things to where Let me tell you, I've known you for 10 years, but when I first saw you, the untapped potential when I first saw you.
Well, no,
It's like, okay, people don't talk like that.
I think it works
true.
in one of two ways. And I think they're
right.
both when he's training, one of two ways. Either one, Kylo is training and he's getting extremely frustrated and like wanting to give up, and Snoke's like, hey, when I first discovered you, you had all this potential and it was like amazing. So like keep going. I think the more likely scenario is that when he's training toward the beginning of the movie or whenever, Snoke is telling him, hey, same thing. When I first saw you, you were basically awesome, and I was like so psyched. And now, based off of what just happened, you're trash. You need to go train and get better. You know, I could see that being the whole thing.
I kind of like that it turns in that direction. I also like the idea that he does it different than like Palpatine or other traditional bad guys, and it would be just like kind of greasing his wheels and kissing his ass, just like you're so great, man. Can you believe how great you are? Like from the second I met you, I was like, this kid is great.
I honestly hope that when this happens, he's sitting on a raised dais, almost like a coliseum, and he's telling him this, and he's like, "Fight!" And then they have to like go at it. Like you just sit in the middle, just if you die by Praetorian guards, oh well, you're not as good as I expected.
Oh, and then they need to make just a straight up like Mortal Kombat, like Street Fighter, Soul Calibur style fighting game.
Yes.
I would be so down for that. Those were my favorites when I was a kid.
Rips the Praetorian guard's spine out.
Finish it.
Victory.
Anyway, going back to the trailer, we have Rey turning on the lightsaber, and it's amazing. So I really like this part too, with the, I guess like the strings or whatever doing their thing, and then the lightsaber sounds match that. You know what I mean? It's coming up here in a second.
Awake. And I need help.
Right there. You know, her swinging the lightsaber matched the string beat up to that point.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was so cool.
I noticed it just right before you said it.
But before that too, though, while we were listening for that, they show at one point a lot of these things we've kind of seen before. They're either just character shots or the books or whatever. But I think the significant, of course, Luke taking the lightsaber, but after that, you see the Force tree in the mist, and Rey's walking up to it. And I think that's cool because that's the first official look we've had at the Force tree, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, it almost looks like the mist almost makes it look like it's like burnt out already, and from like this, spoilery photos where it looked like part of it was charred. Like I wonder if that's something that happened a long time ago.
So then Ezra was there.
That's right. Well, because Ezra goes back in time and founds the Jedi Order.
And then becomes
He's
Snoke.
Ezra, man. He's Ezra.
Who is? Everybody? Luke?
Ezra.
That's
Ezra,
it.
Ezra is the star of Star Wars.
No, that's the plot twist. Snoke is Luke with two U's.
Yeah.
And you love bringing up Luke from the Zahn trilogy. That's my favorite.
I'm like, as much as I loved that trilogy of books, that was the one thing I was just kind of like, really? Are we really doing that?
When I was a kid, when it first came out, because like what year did they come out? 90.
It's 90 something.
Yeah.
Was it 90?
I don't know. Wait, hold on.
Are you gonna look it up?
About 90. No. I'm just trying to remember. I read it when I was in an apartment living with three guys. And that was 90, 93, 83, 93. It's about 93, maybe.
So,
Yes.
according to Google... Oh, sorry, what?
Oh, go on.
I say Heir to the Empire was 91.
Oh, well, then I was drinking before I was 21 then. Sorry.
What year was it, Tim?
91.
So if it was 91, then I was probably 8. Like
5.
I was 9 by the end of the year, but I was probably 8 when it came out. And my oldest brother, like he waited in line for the release with his friends. They were super into it. They were playing the Star Wars role-playing game, And I remember him telling me about the book. And even at 8, the two used thing, it didn't make any sense to me because the other guy's name isn't pronounced with an "oo," right? He's not Jorus Sabaoth, right? He's Joris,
Sabaoth.
right?
I gave up on
Sabaoth.
pronunciation for his name when I read it the
But
first time.
either way, it doesn't make an "oo" sound, and that's not how language works in our brain. There's no genetic defect. It's like, yo, he sees "yous" differently. It's so silly. But anyway, Zahn and his clones his flawed clone process distracted us.
Trailer. That's right, trailer. The ground cracks, and Luke is obviously disturbed by this.
I've seen this, Ross.
Okay, so then Rey doing the pebble stuff. Anyway, next, I really like this with Luke talking about the he's seen this power once before or whatever. I just let that part play.
I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now.
I seriously love that so much, solely because of Mark Hamill's delivery for it and his facial expressions, his eyes, everything. Like, I love that part.
I like that Luke Skywalker's. I don't even think I can say the word on national television. He
scared?
is yes, scared. That's a good word for it. Sure, scared. You like that? You like seeing the hero of the original trilogy, scared by a power?
No.
Well, even like the first time you see him, he's all trembly.
He's old now. You've got a lot of power, girl. You scared me.
No, I like seeing experience and wisdom in it. You know what I mean? I don't think he's scared without reason. So the fact that he is scared is showing all of the reason and experience that he has behind that thought.
And you know what? You know what else? Think about this though. Is that one of the things that we heard in the run up to the original Force Awakens that Luke was just crazy. He was insanely powerful, just throwing rocks around, moving rocks, and doing all this.
Moving mountains.
Well, guess what?
Mountains and junk.
Yeah, mountains. Sorry. So guess what? He's scared of a girl who's breaking rocks in Last Jedi. That's a long way from what people were speculating about the Force Awakens.
It is, but it makes more.
I think it's still possible that he is still immensely powerful, but it's like the rate at which she's progressing scares him because she's like Ben was, But like, I don't think it necessarily means he's a total weakling.
She's more powerful than him.
I think you're probably right for sure.
She knocks him on his ass.
Yeah.
Sorry, you see him laying on the ground going, oh. I think when she knocks him on his ass. So sorry, didn't mean to say ass twice.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think there's also a possibility that he's like not even a little bit on his game because he's got like PTSD because his nephew and protege murdered a bunch of children in front of him and destroyed his life's work.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that he's like super.
Oh, go on.
I was just say, he's like super cautious about this now because like you said, the first time he didn't take it seriously, and then like you said, the person he apparently thought was the chosen one, and his nephew and his direct protege and person he was putting all of his attention into, completely undermined and ruined everything about Luke Skywalker except for killing him, pretty much. So I could see where when he sees this starting to happen again, he kind of isn't a fan.
Yeah, that experience plus the fact that he's probably a little stir crazy from hanging around with a bunch of like turtle lady nuns and space puffins. Like he's probably just like a little bit bonkers.
They're called porgs, Jared.
Yeah. What are the other ladies called? What are the nuns called?
Here.
I know.
I don't remember what they're called. Space nuns. That's what they're called.
There you go.
I don't remember.
Space nuns. But those.
Mamas.
Oh no.
Porg farmers. That's what we don't realize yet. They're just they're farming those porgs.
I hope to God that he uses them for lighting electricity. Like he's got little mini treadmills while porgs just running to get him lights.
That'd be fantastic. It's just total Flintstone style. Everything inside his hut. There's porgs inside the cabinets being the garbage disposal.
Use the
"It's a
porg to, like,
living."
wash dishes. That'd be great.
Yeah, I
So
love
the porg that goes with Chewbacca is like, thank God I'm away from this slavery. Treat me like
Chewbacca-
that.
Chewbacca's not cool with slavery. That's why they're buddies.
Right. Oh,
Honestly,
yeah,
that
that's
they
it. We
got
broke
me.
it.
They totally got me. Like you had worn me down to being porg neutral, and I'm still not on. I mean, we know how most people are. They're porg obsessed. I'm still not quite their level, but that trailer did hit the right buttons for me because Chewbacca's my favorite. So seeing a porg parrot Chewbacca is like pretty freaking adorable.
Did you see how annoyed Chewie was too? Look at those eyes.
A porg has turned into basically the hula dancer of a dashboard.
No, I love that. If that's his job, he's just there to crack him up, to distract him.
You just sit there, and before you know it, you just sit there and like hula dancing while they're flying in space.
I was trying to picture a
so-
porg doing that.
He's the dashboard Jesus. He's
Sure would.
Oh,
If you
man.
hang them from the if you hang two of them from the rear view mirror, they could be porg nice.
Yeah, or just one.
Oh.
If they smell nice, you could be like an air freshener. He's like a little.
Okay. Okay, Mark, as
Porg
you,
aroma.
as you like to tell me, Mark, you say steer the ship all the time. So
Let's go for it.
I'm gonna attempt to do that. So another big discussion is who Luke is talking about when he says, "I've only seen this like raw strength once before" or whatever. People have said Palpatine. People have said Vader. People have said Kylo.
Oh,
A bunch of different people.
Kylo.
Yeah,
He means Kylo. That one.
that-
That one.
yeah.
I think we're all in agreement on, right? He clearly-
I don't. It makes the most sense by far to me
cut
for it
to
to be
him.
Kylo.
They cut to him crawling out of the rubble of the aftermath of Kylo wrecking his Jedi Academy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's either Kylo or it's Skippy, the force-powered droid from the EU, or it's Gunji, who survived the culling, the little Wookiee Padawan. That's
I'm
the
gonna
only...
go with Kylo.
Yeah, right. I really do think he's the most likely of the three, but those are the three.
And like,
Here's the thing: we haven't seen the Knights of Ren in this. Do you think we're going to? I mean, I know they filmed stuff with potentially Knights of Ren.
I heard another theory that I thought was interesting, which is that the Knights of Ren are now the Praetorian Guards.
Oh, so that was like their street gear.
Yeah.
But that just feels weird though, that because like on all the packaging and stuff, they're called Praetorian Guards. But in the first movie, like it wasn't someone else calling them the Knights of Ren. Like colloquially, that was like something that came up in dialogue from Snoke, right?
Well,
Yeah, he says
that,
your knights.
and that he's the master of the Knights of Ren.
Yeah, he says you're the master of the Knights of Ren. Like, so it just feels weird to me that we wouldn't have anything calling them that if they were just that. And it doesn't sound like, like to put it into Game of Thrones terms, he's Jaime. He's not what's his face, the Bold. He's not the head of the Royal Guard. He's like the guy who goes out into battle and kicks butt. Like the Praetorian Guard, like that literally means from Roman, like it's the Royal Guard, and
Right.
So it seems to me those are Snoke's personal dudes, and because we're going to see more of Snoke in this movie, that's why we see them. I don't think that they are the Knights of Ren. I guess it's possible that the very best soldiers would also be his guards, but then how could
Yeah.
they be out doing the best soldiering?
Well, just like I could see it where since Kylo is their leader, he's the master of them. I could see that when he gives his total allegiance to Snoke, he would also offer the best he has as Snoke's personal protection, which would be the Knights of Ren.
Yeah, that's feasible.
I mean, yeah, it totally couldn't be the case, but I like that idea.
Following previous Star Wars, tradition, the personal guards were not always the best when Yoda just like conks their heads together. It's like, whoop, those guys are not good.
Next part though, let's see. Rey looking upset, Kylo staring. And then here he smashes his helmet, which makes sense as to why we saw his smashed helmet in the teaser from April. That was another discussion at that time was, hey, what happened? Why is his helmet smashed? Well, because he got angry and smashed it against a wall, apparently. So that's not much there, but it makes sense. See his tie, what's it called, like the silencer or something like that?
If you have to.
I think. I don't know. And then, and of course, him with Leia and the back and forth. What did you think about that? Like the back and forth of the trailer between Kylo and Rey. I mean, I'm sorry, and Leia.
I think it's probably misdirection.
Okay. Like how so?
Oh, just that. I don't know. Sorry, I had to cough, so I muted myself for a second.
Oh.
I don't know. Just that. I don't know that it's happening exactly in that sequence. Like that feels like it feels like they'd be giving away too much.
Like a pivotal moment.
That moment. Yeah, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna put the moment where Luke gets his hand cut off in Empire in the first trailer. You know,
I definitely agree with that. I think it would be really cool to have, in some way, maybe not these scenes, but in some way, to have a back and forth between Kylo's face and Leia's face when they're close by.
I don't doubt that there's something like that. I just don't know it's going to be exactly this outcome.
Yeah, because
that makes any sense.
Well, like you said, that's a really odd thing if that's something that happens in the movie to put in the trailer.
Also,
Well,
go on.
Well, quick question. So obviously this movie starts right after Force Awakens. We have to imagine though that it probably spends more time progressing time-wise than the average Star Wars movie, correct? I mean, Finn ends Force Awakens in a coma pretty much, and he's up running around fighting. So and the training has progressed. So I imagine that this movie is at least maybe a month, 2 months.
Could
Wrong?
be, yeah.
Is that correct? So
yeah, and it could be a time jump. It could be more.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess all I'm saying is, he's got whatever band-aids he's got over his face in that scene. So that would suggest to me, if anything, it's early in the movie or early in the timeline versus later, because you're not going to run around with band-aids later.
He doesn't seem to have them when he's in disguise or fighting Phasma in disguise, right?
No, I meant Kylo when
Kylo with his stitchy band-aids.
Right, when he's got whatever that is on his face, trying to stitch up a scar. I'm gonna assume that's not long after he got the cut. So it feels to me like this is early on in the movie. I have nothing to back that up, but it feels like this would be earlier on in the movie rather than later. And you're not gonna kill Leia early on.
I'd like to believe they're like Darth Vader band-aids.
That would be awesome.
He has like kid like first order band-aid.
And then it says this Christmas because that's something we've really gotten used to, and I don't mind.
And again,
I think that makes a lot of sense, Mark, though, about the early on.
Huh?
Thank you.
I was concurring with Mark. I think that's good. Good reasoning.
I'm gonna jump to Han Solo.
Go for it. Jump to Han.
There's no way it makes it to me.
You really think
we'll find out soon enough?
Every day I get less sure that they're going to move it to Christmas because they still haven't announced it, and it feels weird. But why haven't they moved it to Christmas? It makes no sense.
I tweeted this out the other day, but after our last podcast, I started thinking that there will be no single convention to promote it, and it's like, what? There's one.
But they might want that.
No, you have to, at this point, once it's in good hands and it's finished, you have to start doing the damage control. You have to start rolling out the cast. You have to start showing the footage. You have to start doing the glad handing, the kissing the babies, the whole sort of thing. This is way too short. You're looking at really 7 months right now before it comes out. That's a lot of time. And it would make no sense to rush this movie
now
and then have a year and a half wait.
Weirdly, though, like this is what a lot of people said about Wonder Woman, and if they started right around now with something, it would match, because Star Wars has been a little more restrained than like Marvel or DC with their stuff, and Wonder Woman had a really short amount of time that they did real marketing push. Like people complained about it because they had like one thing, like a soda can, like Dr. Pepper or something, and that was it compared to all the other stuff that they gave for Suicide Squad and Batman vs Superman. So I do think like it's possible to do a shorter schedule and have a property that people are hyped for, or into, or
It
it has
is.
a lot of momentum and be okay. But I think you're right. Like, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me at this point. Like, I get that they wouldn't even start the campaign until right after The Last Jedi starts. I think it would be a
Right.
super heightened schedule, but it just feels so weird to me to have that gap. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And they're going to make more merchandise if they do it at Christmas every single time,
Yeah,
because people buy
absolutely.
stuff at Christmas. It makes no sense to do
Yeah.
a Star Wars not at Christmas at this point for them, because that just makes those sales more.
Well,
They're going to
you're
get
gonna
a
have
slight
a-
surge from
you're gonna have
fans
a-
in the spring, and a little bit for kids, and that's it. Like, it's not going to be the same, you know?
regardless
Imagine
of
a
what
Force
happens
Friday.
at this
Sorry,
point, it'd be
Tim, go
no. I'm just saying that regardless of what they do at this point, it would be really odd, no matter what it is.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it'd be odd at this point to say, you know what, we're gonna release it in December.
Well,
'Cause
no,
right now,
I don't think.
No,
that
but
would
to
be
have
odd.
waited this long, I'm saying, like you said,
No, that was my point. That every day I get less confident, but that's definitely what they're gonna do, because it just feels weird. But they haven't gone ahead and admitted it, because no one would blame them, right? Like, no
Right.
one would think there's anything weird or wrong about it.
you're just gonna have a situation now to where maybe March, April, you have a Force Friday and possibly the same week a release of The Last Jedi on Blu-ray. It's just like, oh, you know, they finished Infinity War. I'm sure they're putting up some of the final touches or keep going with it, but that movie comes out in May, and that movie's already been filmed, and they're already moving on to other films. It's just like they're still filming, are they not? Are they not still filming Han Solo? Young Han Solo?
I think they're doing the very last stuff, but because there's like the rest of this month. I think they're supposed to stop in November. That was the story. Remember when when Michael Kay was not able to make it because of his Hap and Leonard
Right.
show, because of his Sundance show, because that shot somewhere in a movie shot. I think a movie shot in Africa, and that shot like here, or vice versa. Either way, though, they said that he couldn't get back until like January, but they were only working until November, I think. But they were
I
wrapping
think they want
in
to
November.
get this stuff done and then quietly just be like, news story on a Friday. Oh yeah, guess what? The Han Solo movie? It's December.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the way they should go. But
Anyway, sorry. I know that's not the trailer, but you know, we live Star Wars, Tim.
yeah, yeah. No, so I don't here. Falcon flying through the like crystal cave thing on Crate, and then a really annoyed looking Chewie, followed by nothing mark. Nothing's after that.
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down.
So then Poe's line. It's a kind of a poetic line, no pun intended. I didn't realize that till I just said it.
it sounds like you just watched like the series premiere of Rebels, and it's like, oh, that's a
Yeah.
good title.
Yeah. Well, okay. Anyway, I just feel like he was. I don't know. Part of me feels like he was talking to Laura Dern's character in that, but I'm not sure because supposedly he doesn't have a great relationship with her, and they kind of butt heads. So I could see it where he's just trying to convince her, like, look, this is why we are so important. We need to do this. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there's no context for it at all. So, more importantly, though, one of my favorite shots actually from this trailer is what's next, and that's the Phasma Finn duo. Just
Oh yeah.
the brightness of it and the white and the little bit of blue and silver is just like I think it looks so cool.
What do they call that, Tim? Is it
Oh,
called blooming?
no, I thought you were gonna say money shots since you love those.
No. Well, yeah, money shot, sure. Harken back to the old days of a podcast 287, but when it's really bright like that, don't they call it like blooming?
That would make sense. I really don't know for sure.
All right, never mind. Carry on.
But no,
You-
it looks great.
But that reminds me of what you were talking about before with film, and I looked it up because I was thought that was what it was. But red is it's like the same thing as in art and fine art in general. It means like passion or heat or fierceness and anger. It's like very visceral stuff. Is
Okay.
what red
makes
what
sense.
red means. Yeah, no, I mean especially like it makes sense for both Rey and Kylo. Kylo is just eternally throwing temper tantrums, breaking his helmet and whatnot, and Rey's frustrated because she doesn't have the mentor she thought she was going to have. She doesn't have the hero, the legendary mythical hero who's just going to like answer all her questions. And she has an old man who's shaking. He's like, oh no, I don't want to do this.
Tim's hero.
Oh, yeah, Tim's very favorite guy. He's like, and he's one of my favorites. But he's like, oh, I don't know. Last time it didn't go well.
Corker. Oh.
Fool me once, super powerful kid.
Fool me twice. Shame on me.
Anyway,
go hang out with some space puffins.
Well, no, actually, my sister just told me the other day that she really loves the fact that Luke went off to hide away on an island with space puffins because that's very whiny Luke from Episode 4.
Yeah, well, tell Kay. It still doesn't make sense why he even ditched his X-wing into the water.
Well, who says he did? That's kind of going into spoiler territory, though. So I'm not going to go too much into that, but there could be an explanation for why it's underwater.
Also spoiler territory.
In the water.
Also spoiler territory to tie into the whole whiny kid from Episode 4 thing. I believe that the whole reason he's there is because porgs have a lot of power converters and just makes it's very comforting to him.
Yeah.
That's their specialty. They have a power converter plant on the island. That's what they do.
Somebody said that, and this just popped in my head. Somebody said that Snoke reminds them of that. You guys watch that? God, what is it? The Family Guy, Star Wars, right?
Yeah. I've seen those.
The creepy pedophile. That's Snoke.
Confirmed, right?
Yeah, that's the answer. Oh God. Oh man, and him seducing. That just freaked me out so much. I just like legitimately got the heebie-jeebies because imagine him seducing young Ben.
Your lightsaber. Have you built? No. Let me show you.
Okay, wait.
I mean, and just the fact that the dude has like 2 throat vaginas doesn't help anything.
Well,
hey, more the merrier.
And also, like, Mark, before you go back to your Barney voice, I feel like that was coming next. After those statements.
Why would you put that out there?
Oh, come on! Like that would make. Would you be surprised if he broke out into that after what he was just doing?
No, but I feel
See?
like now it's a guarantee.
Anyway.
So, but I was just gonna say that when they show Phasma's helmet and Finn's reflection is in it, that I need that to be my wallpaper kind of thing. That's just an awesome thing. The whole section is. Let's see. We have BB-8 getting shocked. Nothing surprised there. Luke says it's not gonna go the way you think. Again, not a whole lot surprising there.
Time.
What?
I really do, though. As cool as the Phasma stuff is, I really do hope that we see her in this movie without a helmet.
Yeah, I would.
Too.
That'd be cool.
And there was something that indicated that was likely. I don't remember what it was, but there was some interview or some mention at some point in the past several months made me think like that was going to probably happen. But I totally agree. We've talked about it before. Like I think it's important to show her range of acting as well as to show that the badass woman stormtrooper leader is who she is.
She's too cool. She's too strong. She's too gorgeous, and she is absolutely a face. You know, Game of Thrones is everywhere. You know who she is, so it doesn't make any sense to hide her under a helmet for the whole movie. I get it in the first one, whatever. Okay, but at this point, take it off so you can see her being badass without the helmet.
Well, and plus,
I really hope it happens.
And it makes sense because in this movie, being the second of a trilogy, you're supposed to be diving more into the characters, and the best way to do that for a masked character is to take off the mask. So that it would just make sense.
Go out this one. I don't want Finn to beat her in this.
What I would like it to be an awesome stalemate where maybe he has the upper hand when he has to flee to save Rose or to go with Rose because she's done her job and they need to go get out of there or whatever.
Because I think Finn
happening.
needs a win.
No, I think so
If
too.
you're
But
assuming
I
Rose
also
is even
think
in it.
I don't
She might
think
have
she should
before.
die though. Like I agree with the fact that if he wins, he shouldn't murder her right there.
No, she shouldn't die right away. And again, I say it in jest, but that's assuming we even know Rose is in the movie.
No, and you made that point in the DM, and I mentioned it when I was talking about how I was disappointed that we didn't see her as well on Twitter. But you mentioned that we see that Porg more than we see Rose, and because my friend Jessica was like, well, we don't see any new characters. It's like, yeah, but we do see ice foxes or crystal foxes and Porgs, so you can see new stuff. You can focus on the pre-existing characters and show just a glimpse of Holdo or Rose or DJ or some of the new faces as well to entice us. It's not like it's not a failing. It doesn't make me say angry, but I would have really liked to have seen Rose.
But here is the interesting thing. How much role in this movie do you think she has?
It's hard
Obviously,
to say. I've been thinking Lando
she has
level.
more. You think so?
I was hoping.
She's got an action figure along with her sister, right?
I believe so.
So I'm going to assume it's more than, say, Benicio del Toro, Laura Dern's character.
I think it is. Oh, and it is, and again, it's somewhat spoilery territory, but it's also stuff they've talked about in magazine interviews, so I think it's fair game. But she's going to be paired with Finn a great deal,
right?
So I think that it's likely that she'll be in it a lot, because I think he's not the major focus, but I think if he's not the second lead, or along with Kylo with Rey being the lead, I don't know. Then it's a very different dynamic than in the last film because he was a primary focus.
You guys are very spoilery, right? You're into all the spoilers.
Yeah,
I'm not caught up on them. I don't mind them though.
So I've tried to stay away from them, but I need this little bit of clarification. Crate. Okay, stay as general as possible.
Okay.
Crate would be sort of the finale.
What do you mean?
Well, because the thing is that, we see the giant battle on Crate. That's where all the damn what he calls are the AT-ATs and little AT-ATs and baby AT-ATs and the
gorilla AT-ATs and monkey AT-ATs.
All that stuff, right? That's where that battle is imposed there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, but the Millennium Falcon's flying, Tim, you said, in the scene on Crate.
Right.
Which would make Rey there, probably, or somebody from that Falcon. She's got to get off the island somehow, and the Falcons are only means, unless she and Luke ride together in the X-wing that's buried deep in the water.
Right.
Without it's happening. So then the question is that what's going on in Crate? Is that the finale?
So
is this where it's been there too?
Well, what I would point to, because again, completely nothing about spoilers here at all, just official stuff we have in the behind the scenes reel. I think it was Rey and Finn both on a set that looks exactly like Crate in costume.
Okay. So Rose, to me, back to what started the question, she is secondary to obviously Finn and Rey meeting. She's along for the ride at this point.
It would seem so.
Yes, no.
Yeah, I do think the fact that she has a sister and they talk about their motivations and stuff and the back of the boxes and whatnot, that it's possible that she has somewhat of her own arc. But I agree with you that she'd be secondary. I was hoping that just because of the way they've kind of positioned her in the marketing and whatnot, and again, it doesn't mean they'll follow through on it. I have a lot of thoughts on it, but they positioned her as sort of like the fourth member of this new trio in the same way I feel like Lando was, like an additional member of the central cast of heroes.
Right.
If that makes sense.
But Lando's biggest story arc really was in Empire. It doesn't feel like
that's true.
have a big story arc.
And I think you're probably right that this will be something that introduces her, but he does, well, he doesn't have a huge story arc. He does have a last minute change of heart where he's like, he's going to screw me anyway, and I needed to, do right by my friend and his friends, and so I feel like it's possible she'll have somewhat of a minor arc, or some minor character development. It won't just be someone who's just there. She won't be Nai Nung, like just
Hey,
riding along.
Hey. I forget what language he speaks, but it's a real language.
There you go, Celestin.
Don't diminish. No. It's legitimately the language he speaks is a real language on Earth.
It is? I didn't know that tidbit. I know so much random stuff. I believe you. That's fascinating to me. I have to look that up now.
He's saying something like "get down," and a bunch of people in the country are like, "What?"
I remember hearing that before, yeah, but like you said, I don't remember what the country was.
Like
well, I'm not trying to diminish his language.
It's like I think it's like African language, maybe of some kind.
It's very interesting.
But so that ship that I'm supposed to be steering, because like I have to remind myself, because I keep listening to you guys. I'm thinking about this stuff. I'm like, oh right, there's a trailer in front of me. Oh right, hey.
Yeah, but Tim, also though, it's all Star Wars talk.
Oh so yeah, no, I know. It's just that we still got a little bit to get through left, not much, and we're over an hour so far. So
well, okay, we'll let you steer the ship away from the iceberg for a minute.
Well, I was gonna say next we have
the about Rick and Morty. It's not supposed to hit the iceberg.
So next,
I love you, Mark.
We have that like crystal ice fox thing.
Iceberg.
Yes.
What, Mark?
Iceberg.
But I feel like, and I'm not saying this just to be like.
Tim.
What? I can't tell what you're saying.
Sorry, I said I hate your condescending laugh, Tim.
Oh, okay.
You said like. Anyways, this.
Because I have to keep myself like on point and going, because if I don't, like, we'll never get through this. But
so damn happy to talk to both of you. I really am.
I am too. No, I am too.
Talk about that Dave Filoni apparently loves, according to Twitter. You didn't see that, Tim?
No.
Because you're not.
What was this?
Apparently, according to Ryan Johnson, somebody asked him today, it was, I think, Team Ahsoka on Twitter, if Dave Filoni had created the Ice Fox. And Ryan Johnson said no, but Dave Filoni is a huge fan of the Ice Fox. And then everybody retweeted, like, oh my God, Dave Filoni loves the Ice Fox. So there you go.
No, I did miss that, but I was gonna say, I'm not to be counter to the popular opinion or anything, but just my genuine opinion is that all day, every day, I'd take these guys over Porgs, and honestly, over pretty much any other Star Wars creature based off of this one shot in the trailer. Like, I love these guys, like whether it's Porgs or like Rancors. I'm sorry, Mark, they're cool and all, but like I would take this guy over pretty much everything.
Why you gotta go there, Tim?
Over Ewoks? It's like it's just you just say crazy stuff.
Like solely based off of visuals of it, like they look the coolest of like any Star Wars creature so far to me.
Tim has this total image of him like riding on an ice fox, but naked. He's holding on to his icy fur and just, love you, Ice Fox, love you, as they go through great.
You think I would be? You think I talk like this?
I think you do when you're excited on an Ice Fox, Tim.
Oh,
Yay, Ice Fox. Is it an Ice Fox or Ice Wolf?
I think it's supposed to be a fox.
Yeah, I think it's a fox.
I'm gonna go with wolf. It sounds sturdier than a fox.
The way you think. Fulfill.
Okay, so I mean, because again, a lot of shots people know, like Rey in the water, all that. You can speculate all day about that stuff, but this one here with the stormtroopers, this is what I was mentioning earlier on. The bottom left, we have the snowtroopers, and then like everybody else next to it. I haven't looked closely at the background for this. Is there anything of significance in the background for that part? Oh, there are AT-STs back there too. Oh, and in the front. Oh, whoa, hey. I missed that.
I need to go look at the. This seems like an ATST trailer.
But yeah, no, they're in the front, and it's cool because you can obviously tell what they are, but
What shot
looks
is this in?
it looks more like the First Order. The one where like you just have like the army of stormtroopers in formation. It's like the 155 mark of the trailer, and on the very right, up close, pretty much, you have and like I said, they look like the ones you know, but they look like a First Order design. It's pretty cool.
It sounds like Ryan Johnson is just straight asked my subconscious mind what I want to see in a movie and did it. If there's like, the First Order Rancor somewhere running around, well, he's really gonna win. Got First Order Scout Walkers. I got First Order AT-ATs. I've got like the Gorilla AT-AT. What's left? Guy Fox. I hope those little foxes jump into the air and like fly and glitter.
Let's see.
I think you're likely to have that happen.
Okay, and then we have Snoke in his gold outfit torturing Rey. Pretty significantly, it looks highly uncomfortable. So that's another interesting thing is that we have Snoke and Rey in like close contact at this point. So again, if you're not paying attention to the spoilers or whatever, this is just an interesting thing to see because you have, I mean, it's obvious this isn't a cut put together to be misleading. Like you see his gold thing in the background when he's torturing her. So
His what?
Never mind.
His gold thing.
Never mind.
Oh
I need
God,
someone
gold member.
And at the end, we have
show
this
me my
part.
place in all this.
So this is the other big, and it's the final because this is the end of the trailer. It's the other big discussion is if this part was spliced together or
that's
not.
misleading editing to make me upset.
I personally, I
Or
don't
a fa-
think
or a
those
fake
scenes.
out.
I don't think those scenes go together in the movie. I do
Okay.
think that they're separate things. They might even be talking to different people, or like maybe Kylo is with Rey when he holds out his hand, maybe. But I don't think Rey saying that is what led to him doing that. Like she might be talking to Chewie at that point.
Not
She
yet.
might be talking to Luke.
Like
Like,
a low moment.
well, like that's the one thing too. I heard somebody say that for all the Reylo fans out there, enjoy this because this is the closest you're gonna get. Is this last part of the trailer?
I don't know.
Again, I think it'd be too obvious if this is exactly how it goes down. I think even if it goes down somewhat like this, it's going to be some kind of a mislead. I don't know.
Well, plus,
I could be wrong.
let's just say when Rey gets there, she hands Luke the lightsaber. He's like, "Oh no, who are you?" And then it's the nighttime, and they're gonna have a fire or something, or they're gonna be in a hut and have a fire. You're gonna have these kinds of things. Rey looks more like she does in The Force Awakens than in the other Last Jedi promos we've seen, and like based off of what we can see from the shadows or whatever. So I think it might make sense that it's like her first night. She gives Luke the lightsaber and she's talking to, like I said, either him or Chewie or somebody and saying like, "Look, I just got to get this figured out." And then later,
I've heard people point out that she's in the vest that we only see her anywhere else than with the lightsaber exchange from that moment. Everywhere else,
Yeah.
she's got a slightly different outfit on in the training and on Crate and all this other stuff.
right?
So why would she like go back to that vest to go talk to Kylo?
Oh. So what you're saying is she's saying that over a dinner of roast pork.
Yes,
with
no,
Skywalker.
precisely with the maitre d' of the turtle
that.
nun. Yeah,
Yes. Turtle Nuns over there. Can I get you a hot towel?
exactly correct. The chef needs to know, is everything to your liking? The porks
Pork's
are
a little-
very fresh. They're very fresh.
A little underdone, but that's fine. Yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, anyway, yeah, that's what I feel like it is, and I think it's
And if we're
intentionally
reaching,
misleading.
It's because I'm not going to accept this, even if I'm proven wrong for a while. I can't handle.
Now, you're against a Reylo ship, Jared?
I'm not like, I don't care what other people like, but I do feel like
You're
it's
gonna
weird.
throw death threats at people like apparently are happening all over the internet?
Oh yeah, no. Anyone who disagrees with me should die. No, no.
I believe you think that.
No. With the Reylo stuff, to me it feels really weird and kind of creepy because of the way they interacted in the end of Force Awakens and when he kidnapped her and whatnot. I feel like it's just a bad image to me. I'm okay with forgiveness. I'm okay with redemption. I'm okay with a lot of things, even though I don't want those things for Kylo. But I'm all right with those as a concept. I'm not really cool with the idea, the imagery of a woman getting with a dude who kidnapped them and like threatened them and was like said stuff like, we both know I can take what I want. Like it just feels creepy as hell to me and like a bad precedent and not great imagery for young men or young women to like have in their formative years, even if it's not intentional.
That's pretty much exactly what I was going to say. I was going to be a little bit more blunt with it, but that's the same message I was going to get across.
See, I don't have any problem whatsoever with relationship after watching that stupid little show on HBO. What is it, Big Little Lies? Good Lord, that movie or that show.
I haven't seen that one.
Talk about an abusive relationship in that show. My God, who's the guy that plays Tarzan in the latest Tarzan movie?
Yeah. Alexander Skarsgård, that's his name.
Oh man, what an a-hole in that show. He is such an abuser, and Nicole Kidman takes it.
I hate that stuff, man.
Until she doesn't take it anymore.
Well, I'm glad that she doesn't take it anymore. I mean, because that's just so hard in real life.
It's a good show. It really is, but at the same time, yeah, I liked it. The wife and I watched it, but I think with Kylo, you might see him redeem himself in the end, but I don't think you're going to be satisfied. I don't think. This is just me like throwing stuff out, but I don't think the characters in the saga will be like, oh, what a great guy. They'll be like, okay, cool. He sacrificed himself to kill Poe, or I mean, not kill Poe, but
wait. Now you are trying to get me to like Kylo.
No. I'm saying that he may redeem himself in the end. He may redeem himself in the end and help to kill Snoke or whatever, but I think ultimately, by having him off his dad, Han Solo, giant character in a trilogy, there is no coming back. You can wipe out tons of Jedi younglings, like Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader, and you're still like, all right, well, he was cute. He was with Padme, and they're together, and, now he's redeemed himself. I don't think there's anything coming back from Kylo. No matter how good he does, I think the fact that he killed Han Solo is still just going to way over everybody's head.
Well, and like even in terms of the actual content, I feel like people say even if you credit Vader for the stuff that Death Star did, which I don't think is really fair. I think that was Tarkin.
Right.
But even if Vader killed a bunch of dudes, Kylo is partially responsible for Starkiller Base, and they destroyed an entire system with inhabited planets. Right. It's like he makes Darth Vader look like a wuss because that thing's the size of a planet. And I censored myself there, Tim. I almost cursed. But I don't know. I don't think we need. I just feel like it'd be so samey. There is no way I can conceive, and like in a weird way, it's like, to me, it's a creative challenge to a good creative filmmaker. Like I will be really happy to be wrong if there's a really satisfying, well done, emotionally story satisfying way for you to redeem Kylo and have it feel not like it's a retread at all, then I'm into it. But as it is, any variation that I can think of will be too much like, oh, okay, it's exactly like the last parts of a saga because Vader got redeemed because he made some sort of sacrifice and he learned his lesson. And it's like, that's what the Skywalkers do? Well, it's like, well, guys, let's think about, fixing the Skywalkers. Like, let's think about it.
It's like you said, even if he sacrifices himself to destroy Poe, or I did it again, Mark, to destroy Snoke, he can't do that because, like you said, that's exactly what happened with Vader. But no, so you can't do that.
He was like, I'm gonna murder Han Solo. Vader, and then everyone was like, "Thank you." Wait, no, that's not what happened.
Hey, okay, so yeah, that would be like exactly like Vader.
Steer the ship, Tim. Steer the ship.
If he sacrificed himself for Snoke to kill Snoke, then that'd be exactly like Vader. And like you said, the only way for him to possibly do a redemption and have it not be too similar would be is if he like builds a green lightsaber and is like a cliche Jedi fighting right next to Rey, and they don't have enough time to make that feasible with this movie and the next one. You know what I mean? It just won't work. So
That's episode 9. He has definitely enough time.
no, because with this movie, even if they hint at the end that he's going to start to be redeemed, you can't go from episode 7, he kills his dad and is bad. Episode 8, he's still conflicted and all that. And I think the part of the intrigue of this whole trilogy is the Kylo conflict with himself. But like,
No. Sorry.
but no, episode 8, you have him supposedly diving even deeper into the dark side, and then episode 9, he's got Rey's back and he's fighting with the green lightsaber. That doesn't work.
Listen, Tim, episode 8, at the end, Snoke has Rey. He's torturing her. He convinces her that he is the one who can train her, okay? At this point, Kylo's like, damn, he's left me behind. I'm done. And he's taking her and corrupting her. I was wrong to do what I did to my dad. I was wrong to think about torpedoing my mother. You know what? Luke, let's band together and fight Snoke and get Rey back. You don't think that's possible?
Yeah, I just feels cheesy to me.
I'm not saying it's not cheesy, but can you see it? Can you feel me?
I know what you're trying to say. I feel like Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams are not going to be the ones to do that. You know?
Well, J.J. Abrams, excuse me. Sorry, I'm swallowing here. J.J. Abrams might not have a choice. That may be where Rian Johnson left him. We don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Rian Johnson would lead up to that.
All I want is for us to get Lando in episode 9 and also Jackson. So, yeah.
Are we getting Lando? Honestly, do you think so?
I don't know. I was talking to Colin about it and thinking about it, and it's like I really want him to be around, but he's also like really old. Like he's older. He's significantly older than Harrison Ford or than my dad. And I feel like they're old, and it's like, and he looks good at conventions and stuff. He's still on his game and funny, but I don't know. Like it might be weird to see Lando in his like 80s, I don't know.
At this point, he would feel like one of those sitcoms, right? Where a certain character walks in and everybody cheers, even though that has nothing to do with the character, more than it has to do with the actor that's there. And so I almost think that if Lando should be like, hey, everyone would be like, yes, it's Lando. He's like, can I help you smuggle something? Thanks, Lando. And then he's gone. I mean,
can I help you smuggle something? I think now we've ruined it because it's going to happen, but that's exactly what his line's going to be. It'll be his only line.
I'm thinking, if anything, there might be a reference to Lando, but I don't think he's going to be on screen. I don't think we're going to get Billy D. Williams in it.
I think they'd be like, the Lando you get is young Lando. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
I hope that I see, and if this movie, if young Han Solo, which is again what I think it's going to be called, if that's successful, I think they should do then like a spinoff where it's young Lando, and then do another spinoff where it's young Chewbacca, where it's like like you remember those Benji movies, Mark, when we were kids, like where it's just
Benji
silent.
And Benji the Hunted. It'd be like mildly middle-aged Chewbacca and young Lando meets, I don't know, the Imperial Guard, whatever.
Well, and like, no, think about it. Because like, as Benji is running from the Hunter, is Chewbacca the Hunted? He's running from a Trandoshan or whatever.
Don't, you know what? Trandoshans seriously are one of the greatest characters ever And I think the main reason why I like them so much, especially in the Clone Wars, is because they remind me of that super, super fantastic episode of Star Trek called The Cage, where basically it's Captain Kirk versus a lizard monster in Vasquez Rocks in California. Basically,
I remember that one.
That is my favorite episode ever of Star Trek.
They also remind me of the guys from Land of the Lost.
Yes, Lee Stacks.
Yes, right, and a good way, in a very good way. No, I dig it. And like, I like that they've expanded Mandalorians to not just being, well, mostly because it doesn't make any sense to have a mercenary society, like the old EU version, like before Clone Wars.
From each other.
Yeah, every one of us is putting out jobs to put out hits on each other. like, that's your culture. That needs no. But anyway, the whole idea of the Trandoshan's, like, I don't know, of reptilians all being like predators and hunters, that makes some sort of sense to me, like, because we do have that stuff in common. You know, there's they say like the parts of our brain, the reptile brain, is the amygdala. Like, there's stuff that we do that's like fight or flight that's like tied to that. So the idea that there's these humanoid lizards that are just like, they're all hunters, that's kind of cool to me.
So what do you guys think overall of the trailer?
Oh, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I was very impressed. Like I said, the only thing that I felt like was lacking, I like to see a little more of Rose or the new characters, but it's not like it didn't ruin it. It was still really good.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. It was really good.
This is
done
what?
Better with it. It was just,
Go on, Mark.
No, I mean, there's one of the things to where I can't say the first trailer left me underwhelmed because there wasn't much to it, but this one was like, oh my god, this is the kind of movie I'm getting. It's one of those things to where I don't think it just backed up your hopes or wishes or whatever. It's like really that that you're possibly in for something fantastic.
And you get an idea what the style was going to look like, right? Like,
well, I think the style's still enough in the Star Wars universe that it's nothing crazy, but it is a little bit of a departure from normal.
Well, it's not. Yeah, like, I didn't mean anything crazy, but just being able to see more of it than just those shots, those establishing kind of shots in the teaser. I do feel like we got to see a little more of an idea of what it's going to look like.
And I was going to say something kind of similar to what I think Mark was saying. With the 3 trailers we had for The Force Awakens, after each one of them, it was like, all right, like, I am ready for this movie today. And with Rogue One, they were all really good trailers, and I enjoyed them, but I was just like, oh, okay, like, yeah, that's cool. This is good. I'm excited. And with the first trailer, the teaser from April for this one, it was really good, but when it was done, I wasn't saying wow. I was just like, oh, that was really good. And so this one is the first time since the Force Awakens trailers that I've been like, okay, like, wow, I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah. Yep.
You feeling super pumped?
Yeah. Like I said, and they've all been good, but just the X factor, so to speak, was in this one for the first time for me since the Force Awakens trailers.
Yep. I agree.
And then just that, like I said, that's it for the trailer. The poster, just want to say quickly, I think it looks great. I love the stark, sharp look of it while it's still being really simple. You guys like it?
I thought it was great. This is really good.
I dig it.
Overall, I've just seen good reactions to it. And yeah, I think it's great. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was the ticket buying experience, at least for me, because I was so happy with it. Okay, last time for The Force Awakens, I was checking early before the trailer was out. I was checking and it crashed, like the internet crashed, right? And couldn't do it. So I had to drive down to the theater, waited in line, got the tickets, all that good stuff. This time I was ready, like an hour and a half, 2 hours before the trailer was supposed to be on. I'm sitting here hitting refresh the whole time. And when they finally went live, they went live on Fandango before they went live on the actual website for the theater itself. and I was able to pretty much get any of the seats I wanted for the premiere, and I was so happy. It was so easy, and I'm just like thrilled out of my mind about how that turned out, and I had to say that.
Our situation didn't go quite as well.
Yeah, I heard that it was.
Yeah, I'm stuck going with Jared. Good God.
It's true. I'm gonna make Mark love porgs.
I'm gonna make you love me.
I already love you.
All right, well then we're good.
Yeah, done.
Mic drop. Bye.
No, for real. Like that. That's it. That's all we were gonna say.
There you go.
I have nothing else.
When does Rebel start?
It's
like 6
16th,
days, right?
I think. Yeah, I think it's
How long?
Monday or Sunday night. This is it Sunday night at midnight or something.
This Sunday?
I think so.
Holy crud!
It's the 16th, you say? So that's a Monday night. Yeah, so it's at midnight on Sunday.
I better
16th.
set it tape, because that will be gone.
Like, I don't get the time slot.
It's like the worst possible one.
They're just burying it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Weird.
Well,
That's fine.
Weird move.
Look. I've said this before. As much crud as I heap on Rebels, I still enjoy it. I'm still there
Right.
every week watching it. Within 24 hours of its release. Sometimes,
Just waiting for Kanan to die horribly.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I want him to die is because he has to, as far as I'm concerned.
No,
Just
I know.
because- Just because of canon, but otherwise, he's a decent enough character. I think
Kanan
they're all
canon?
great characters. Whichever. I don't have any problem with Hera living and Chopper going on and Zeb moving on. Sabine, she can, go hang out in Mandalore and do what Mandalorians do, just put bounties on each other. I don't have any issue with that.
Taking turns playing bounty, and
Yes.
and Zeb can go hang out with his friends that he had in that episode that had the best music in any episode of Rebels, except for the training episode with Sabine, which also had really good
It's just-
music.
Kanan and Ezra have to die, and Ahsoka hopefully with them. So,
I do feel like it's possible. Like I
sorry,
said
Twitter
before,
friends, it has to happen.
I feel like you could kill Kanan and have Ezra have no one to finish his teaching and just go off and not be anything. And I think you could kill Ezra and have Kanan give up and disappear because he's given up hope on everything. Because first he lost his mentor in the Order, and then he lost his protege.
No,
But I don't think-
cannot have Kanan alive.
I think you can if you have him disappear.
Nope. How? He's
Because he wouldn't
absolutely.
Be
he's
anything
absolutely-
anymore.
First of all, he's absolutely blind. Second of all, he's absolutely in love with Hera, and
Also
Hera
true.
is in Rogue One.
Yeah, but
You
he
may not
never
see
signed. He never signed up for the rebellion, and they keep they didn't.
Oh, but he's like, it's like me saying, look, I don't like pizza, but I've had pizza 7 days this week. He is in the rebellion. He may never have signed up for it, but he's
expressed doubt like up until
No.
the end of season 2. They didn't really
now
address
he's
it.
her. He can't apparently wipe himself without her helping because he can't see. The
Hey,
Force only goes so far.
He can force wipe. Everybody knows it. Hashtag force wipe.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
if you listen to the end of this episode, hashtag Force Wipe. Just so we know. The real fans out there.
I think we've said this before, but I think the only way you can make either Kanan or Ahsoka make it, not both, but only one of them, is if one of them is like a founder for the Force. The Church of the Force, but it can't be both of them. It could only be one.
But I also feel like the
No.
Church of the Force, from what we've heard, is supposed to be non-Force users who are like interested in the history, keeping it alive. To me,
I mean, yeah.
Ezra Santeca.
oh my gosh! If you rearrange the letters of Lord Santeca, it does not spell Ezra. Like it's got so
No.
many more letters, and it's missing.
As
Yeah,
Lord Santeca.
it's missing Z. So Eslor, yeah. How could I not see it before? His name is Eslor.
Eslor. And it was the whole 3 seasons was wrong. He's Eslor Santeca.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to end this episode because we still have one more thing to do before we go anyway. So
What?
I'm gonna
Depends on how long it is.
5 minutes.
Come on, what is it, Tim?
Go for it. Let's do it.
Well, we have to end this episode first. We can't do it live.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
fine.
This episode's over. Goodbye, everybody.
Everybody appreciates.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put the outro music and thank you for listening, everybody who tuned in for our live trailer discussion episode. And Mark will not be back next week, but I believe we'll have an episode next week.
And Andrea might be.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so we should have an episode next week, even if Mark's not here. So
Hey, you can always have the fantastic Noah Outlaw on.
or actually have someone else in mind because there's a good reason for next week. So we'll see. I don't know.
There
But
you
thank you all and bye. Hey, it's still recording you.
It's still recording me?
Yes, but I'm stopping it now.